Hi everyone. Just wanted to go over this week we have here that we got started on. You can see it was up and down, but we finished up strong on Nasdaq. Why is it doing that? Yeah, we finished the week strong. Nasdaq straight buying. So we're gonna go down to the daily chart and drop some zones. Uh, when was the week started? 6 right here. Yeah, the demand zone here. Demand here to down there. We'll draw that up there. And then we still have a resistance from the previous week. Still have a resistance up here from the previous week on NASDAQ. And that's mainly because of NVIDIA's weakness, but NVIDIA bounced really strongly. And been really good for this here. Draw that resistance area. That's where the selling continued. We'll go down to the 4-hour. You can still see that this was the resistance here on the 6th. Push price down. We tested it. Push price down, but buyers ultimately bought this up. So that was strong buying. On the 65-minute chart, we are above the 5-day moving average. So we're currently in an uptrend. You can see how we came down and we tested. I don't know what this candle was. I pointed this out earlier today in the group, but this right here, I don't know what this candle was. Like, this literally came down and ripped down and got immediately bought back up. I have no idea what that was. I was not watching the market during that time, so I didn't know. But yes, we are above the 5-day moving average. And it's trending up, and it's looking like we'll probably get a retest back down to, I don't know where. Where is the previous resistance? We might get this. This was our previous resistance that we were testing right here. So we put this here. This is the previous resistance we're testing. We might come dip down below this a little bit and then bounce up. And I think the next target would be this area. So that would be the next target that they're going to target, because that's the major selling. That's where all the selling was before. So that's where I'm sure that they'll target. I don't know if they're going to do it right away, but we'll see what happens. That's the next target on the NASDAQ. But I believe that we're going to get some sort of test down here, because they tested support. Sorry. They tested this resistance multiple times, and it needs to flip as support. And it hasn't done that as of yet. So once this flips as support and buyers agree to the higher prices, then we could move up here. So that's what we'll probably see next week. Then we'll go to S&P 500. ES is really strong. SPY ES is very strong. It has more strength than the NASDAQ, mainly because the semis were getting hit really hard. There's a lot of people short the semis, so that's the reason why that was happening. So let's chart this up. I'll go to the daily chart. Come from here. This was the support area. I'm going to put this here. Put this here. Massive wicks. Put that there. Then this is barely a resistance. This is going to get broken next week. This resistance. That's going to get broken next week. I doubt sellers are there sitting to sell. They have been super bullish. Even when NASDAQ was going down, they were buying off of NASDAQ VWAP throughout the week. And it was just getting supported. Now, it needs to come down, though. So you can see, again, this was that wick candle. You can see on that 65-minute chart, we had no red candles on the S&P 500 during the trading session. From 9:10, so from right here, 8:05. Once buyers were in, we were just going up. And it got above VWAP and it stayed above VWAP. It tested once and it just continued going. The strength on SPY is very strong. Now, where would they revisit? Right here. So this was our resistance area previously before. So I believe we should see a retest back down to here, because usually that's how everything goes. We should see a retest back down to the support in order to get a move back up, unless we're just going to buy it straight up. I don't see that happening, but I can see us coming back down somewhere around here, somewhere around this 5-day moving average. We'll maybe consolidate, or we'll just bounce off of it. But that is SPY and NASDAQ. Let's look at some other stocks. Massive gap here for Meta. It's been trading around the 5-day moving average, and once it's gotten above it here, it seems like it's been strong buying off of it. We got below it here one day, and then they just used it as a buying opportunity. Then we revisited back to that area. You can see it here. Let me get rid of VWAP. But we revisited back this area, and there was definitely tons of buyers that were just sitting there waiting to buy this off of Meta. So that 579 was strong, and look at that rally off of there. Oh my goodness. That is perfect, perfect, perfect. And that's the massive gap there. That's the big gap from here. They found value here, and they said, okay, we revisited it, and they just bought it. Look at that. Amazing. Amazing move. I could see us coming back down here. Again, previous resistances usually flip as support. I would love to see this. Well, I'm not going to be trading it, but this is where the area where they'll probably revisit. They'll probably be like a up, down. They'll come back here, consolidate, and then they'll bounce, possibly. Where are we bouncing to? Let's see where we're going to bounce to. Is there anything there? Where's the 690 right there, because we tested 677.86. I think that's what their target is, 691.50. I don't know if it's going to be next week, but that's what it looks like. So you could see, I'm anticipating that this is going to get retested. I'm almost certain, or it's going to at least come down here, consolidate below the 5-day moving average, and then bounce off of it. So that's like a nice setup for a long. So you want to see a pullback and then consolidation and a move off of that, and you would want to be long after the move off of the consolidation. AMD, strong support area. I don't like this chart. Tesla, I don't like this chart either. Another area where it got supported. Higher lows, lower highs here. This is a lower high, but then we got the bounce, so I'm not sure. This looks like it's all over the place. Microsoft doesn't look like it's doing anything. Lower highs here. I don't like this chart again. This is the same thing that Amazon looks like it did. Amazon, what I was talking about before, I was saying if Amazon got below this 5-day moving average, you can see it was holding below it, and then we got this test of this area, this previous area where there were buyers, where they consolidated and started to move up. We retested that area with price, and it was literally a rocket. And I was wrong about this. I thought this was going to come up and test this area, because that's where you can see this resistance that we had here. tested, and then we came down, and we right down. And I thought on this date that we're maybe going to test here and then get a failure and break down. But I was completely wrong about that, because there is buyers on these bottoms here that want these dips. Moving over to NVIDIA, that's exactly what happened with NVIDIA. And this is a perfect example of previous resistance flipping as support. So you see this resistance here, tested. Every single time we got pushed around to this demand zone here. And we finally found buyers here on the 8th of July. You can see we move up, and look at that. I called this on the 9th. I said we're going to come back down to previous resistance, and that was a perfect trade for that day. Came back down, right down to from 199 straight to 203. Sorry, 204. Perfect trade for that day. And that's a perfect example of previous resistance picking up support. And then we came back close enough again. And buyers again, they said, I like this price. And did that happen mainly in pre-market, or then during the regular session? That was during the regular session. Look at that. It literally came down close to that price and it just rocketed. Did you even get a VWAP test? It came up, you got a VWAP test here. This is your consolidation for an entry if you want it to be long. Because you wouldn't have gotten this. This came way too fast. Maybe, yeah, look at that. That consolidation right on VWAP. And it just continued up. That's where you could have gotten long, but you couldn't have gotten this. Like there was no way. Like there was no clear indication. Maybe on the 2-minute. Let me see on the 2-minute. 2-minute chart, you wouldn't have. Maybe you would have bought this, but it wasn't clear. You could have bought off of that. But yeah, it would have been hard to catch this, but perfect on NVIDIA. This is what I was talking about. The rally from the S&P 4 NASDAQ is all from NVIDIA. A lot of it is from NVIDIA and Apple. After that news about the prices, look at this. Is that a previous support area? I don't know why this came in and it just got bounced. I don't know what caused this bounce on Apple. Like this has been so strong. Look at this. Every single time, open, rally up, open, rally up, open, rally. And it's strong candles off this rally. And they want to break this. We haven't even come down to test this resistance. Like you see this resistance here. We haven't come down to test it. Just rallied through it. No retest, nothing. So it's due, but it seems like it doesn't want to come. Like it doesn't want to come back down. The buyers are just aggressively buying. Every single dip below the 5-day moving average is continually getting bought. And now we're back in this previous resistance that we were in June, where it caused a move down. Then we created this resistance here and caused a move down. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Apple. Like I said, I thought that we were going to get a retest, but it is not happening. NVIDIA, I spoke about that. SpaceX, I told everybody SpaceX junk stock. Right now, they're just using U.S. liquidity if you're entered into this. Like, look, I had this anchor view off from the top. Wait, where did I anchor this from? Let me see. Is this on the 4-hour that I anchored it? I think I anchored it on the daily chart. Yeah, off of this massive wick. So I have these two anchors on here. You go to the 4-hour chart, you'll be able to see them. Oh, I guess you can't see the other one. I don't know why, but that major anchored view off from the top, and it literally, I told it when it comes to it, it was gonna get sold down. It came to it and it got sold down, and it's been below the 5-day moving average. It's been below it. Like you can't get buys, and all those analysts that say, "Oh, it's a great buy to 500," they're just lying to you. Don't buy this until after whatever the dates are, when all the shares unlock. Then it's going to be when the true price will be in. Right now, they're just taking your money for liquidity. VIX is getting beat down, so Volatility is down. Options are cheap on SPX. If you're going to trade SPX or SPY options, they are cheap because we got them pushed down really hard. But those are the major stocks that I wanted to go over. Everything else looks really, really choppy that I follow. Yeah, everything looks really choppy. Netflix is faded off that resistance. Yeah, that's it. All I got.